Welcome to the Innovation Forge. So what we're going to now do is actually just calculate the click rate. And there's the simple way to do this that's probably going to break, and then there's the more complicated way that will kind of help error-proof what's happening. So we're going to do, let's see, email click rate, so email clicked divided by email sent. And you can even do subsets of the emails they opened, what was their click rate of opened emails. The problem with this is if for some reason, I mean, like I said earlier, since these are counts, you should be getting a properly formatted integer to do these kind of mathematical formulations on. But maybe they didn't click on any emails at all, or weren't sent any emails. So you're dealing with these divided by like 0 situations, and that's probably going to cause an error as well in your query. So maybe we want to cast both of these as, let's just say, real numbers, could be integers, and we also need to do a null if statement. So cast is basically just telling Slate, hey, make sure that this variable, this data, this formula, export, however you want to call it, as a real. Or we could do integer, but let's do real in case we need decimal points for your example and you come back to this video needing to do something. And then we can just close the parentheses and let's cast this as well. And just make sure whether you're using integers or reals, you're using the same data type here. So this does solve errors of data types, but doesn't solve the issue of if we're going to get other types of errors here. So let's just do a null if statement. I'll just do a 0 here. So this will help, like if they just didn't get any emails, or for some reason there's just other data issues here. So we're just going to, if there's an error here, basically kind of help fix that issue. So we can save that copy. And we also want to start doing score bands. So we're going to use this example of click rates for score bands because I think there's a really natural use case, because maybe a student with 100% click rate just shouldn't be scored higher than students with a 90, 70, 50, 30% open rate, because they just have a system that's opening all the emails for them. And we do get a lot of flexibility in creating score bands, but also applying scoring rubrics to those score bands right here in this formula. So we're going to do another case when for Excel folks. It's just like basically an if statement. So we're going to do a few of these. So I'm going to open up our formula box. So when the click rate, so the number of emails clicked divided by the number of emails sent, is greater than or equals to 1. So this is 100% essentially click rate because we're doing percents. Then we're just going to give them 0 points or put them in that 0 score band. And definitely check your data. This is kind of assuming that you've examined your data. What are the groups of maybe similar sizes, similar outcomes, or validation variables that you're using to group these students for whatever maybe scoring, yield, messaging strategies, whatever it could be. So if they have a 100% click rate, then we're just going to kind of throw them in as a 0. So you don't need the second case. You're just going to do another when statement. No, it'd help if I said then and not the. So, and I'm just going to copy this. Be careful with how you're copying and pasting. Here, that's definitely going to be another source of possible errors. So when that is, let's just say maybe we want to look at greater than or equals to 70%. Maybe 70 to 99.99999% they all behave in a very similar way or have similar outcomes and similar group sizes. So when their click rate is greater than or equals to 70%, we can say they are in group 3. Or maybe we're going to apply a scoring rubric of every group 1 through 3 gets 5 points. So maybe they're going to get 15 points for being in that third group, which is 70% or more. And we can just copy that again. So maybe the second group is 30% or more, and maybe that they get put into that group 2, or if we're applying a scoring rubric, 5 points per group number, then that's 10. And then maybe if it's just literally a 1% click rate, then they get thrown into that group 1, or if we're applying a scoring rubric, 5 points. And maybe we just throw everything else as a 0. So this is 0% click rates, or if there's some other kind of something else that's just falling through the cracks of how you're writing your formula, it just kind of gets thrown into the 0. And again, when you're analyzing and validating your data, if you see a huge discrepancy of the behaviors here, and you probably have a raw click rate value export, you can troubleshoot, investigate, things like that. So, and then we just need to end our case when statements. So this allows you to not only get your click rates, not only put them in score bands, but actually apply your scoring rubric to your score bands. So we're just going to save that. So now that we've analyzed our click rates, we've put them in score bands, we've actually scored the bands.